Well, restarting my computer. Oh. So now I'm getting there. All right. Let me just move Max. You're gonna move all by yourself? Oh, buddy, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm here. Slowly. Hold on. I took a shower. The little things in life. Okay. I just need you to plug. Just need you to click in. Hi. All right. That's good. I can see you. I can see what you guys are writing. I could open the window for some natural light. I can try. Okay. All right. You made it over to the other side. Oh, break on to the other side. It's so much brighter now. That works. So I want to talk about nerve pain and who experiences it. What, like, if you come across this video, I should have actually hashtagged it for people who Google. I already kind of talked about my own experience on the other channel. So if I think about it, what I'll do is post that link under this video for you guys to go and watch if you'd like. So, I forgot my socks. It's cold here in New England. Hey, Caden? What? Oh, can you do me a favor? Really? Did I mess up your game time? See that? Can you pass me my socks underneath that towel? I'll take those. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Is that Anthony? Tell him I said hi. I could hear him. It's cold here, but it's snowing. Yeah, snowing here. So I do want to start talking about how this nerve pain affects people, affects myself, affects everybody. It's pretty fucking painful. Again, those for newbies, welcome. I got into a car accident a couple months ago. Got rear-ended like 50 miles an hour. It's going like 50 something. Can't complain. I'm alive. So this video isn't about complaining, but it's life changing. It's life altering. And we're probably going to get into medications. We're probably going to get into a lot of stuff. I don't necessarily think like I'm like the guinea pig or the spokesperson in the sense of like, I don't want to be looked at as like a guinea pig, trial and error. But I will say I'm that one person where someone's like, oh, I'm going to see a counselor. I'm going to do this. And I'm like, oh, okay. It makes me very when it comes to like medication and whatnot. And I'll be the first one to be like, you know, in the sense like, oh, careful, you know, it's the first thing that goes through my mind, which is awful because I'm basically giving my opinion when I shouldn't when it comes to your own personal care. But the medicines are just overwhelming. I was taking Tramadol and muscle relaxers around the clock that were working, here and there with meloxicam, which is like an anti-inflammatory. So I think I was in the hospital 3 times last week. One thing after another, and I'm like declining quick. Like every time I go into PT, and I know that's key. She's like, I'm not touching you. I can't touch you. Like that's linked to that. That's linked to that. Yada, yada, yada. My neck MRI is Tuesday. So right now it was kind of more or less like when I got in the accident, it was just a bulging disc. One was bulging, one was herniated. I forget what the other one was fucking doing. And I had my nerve root, I think it was L5, that was like impinged. So the nerve was stuck. It's like the sciatic nerve. And then it started happening in my other leg. And I got another MRI like 4 weeks later. And now it's like bilateral, and it's the stenosis. So there's still a lot that I'm learning. But my lumbar spine, they haven't had an MRI for that, but I know something's going on there because something was happening with my bladder and bowels and all that. So they were trying to rule out Cadi Quada, something like that, which I do have a mild case of, but not to the extent. So it's just been a shit show. So basically, the new MRI a couple weeks ago showed that it's bilateral, so it's affecting both legs, and then traveling upwards towards my spine with the nerve impingement. So there's just a lot going on. Maybe I thought I walked away from this scot-free, but I clearly didn't. So when I say I have nerve pain from head to toe, I have nerve headaches. Like it affects my vision, my ears hurt, my jaw hurts. It's just everything is painful. Shoulders hurt, you name it. You're supposed to sleep this way on your left, on your right, you slide, side, pillow in between your legs, everything you try, right? But then like for the neck, you should really be on your back, and I can't be on my back because then it affects my lumbar spine, yada, yada. So I do want to get into like our natural chemicals and medication and certain stuff and start discussing certain stuff. But I also want this particular video to be about, natural home remedies or the medication you decide to take yourself for what is going on. And I have a high tolerance for pain, so I'm going to push through whatever it is I need to kind of push through. But you don't just push through nerve pain like that. You do and you don't. It's excruciating. And it mentally, emotionally, physically fucks with you. So I had to get off the Tramadol because you're not supposed to take a long time anyway, And now that they realize there's nerve damage and that type of stuff that's already happening quickly, they wanted to put me on a nerve medication, which is the gabapentin. I chose, with looking up a couple with the doctor, gabapentin probably would have been my best choice for right now, in the meantime. But that messes with me too. You're supposed to do 3 a day. Well, you take a lot. I take a lot a day, up to like 3,000 something. I'm only starting at 300. But it was giving me like vertigo, all different side effects, blood vision. It was awful. So I'm only taking it at night. So 1 a day. just at night. And then maybe tomorrow I'll see what it does to me in the morning as my body gets used to it. I will tell you, like, not even that I get pulled to like mood disorder. It's not even mood disorder. Like the pain is messing with everything. It messes with all your natural chemicals. It messes with your neurotransmitters. And your neurotransmitters, guys, are these little messengers in your brain that send messages back and forth. Like you can't live without your neurotransmitters, okay? And it's linked to your nervous system. It's where you get like serotonin, dopamine, melatonin, testosterone, all that stuff. It's how your brain communicates. So me choosing to go the gabapentin route right now to block nerve pain only made sense because what it tries to do is release more dopamine than anything. I also do know our natural chemicals in regards to like our own GABA, right? It's that wusa, it's that everybody wants to get to in meditation, that type of stuff. That's the calm. But you don't want to suppress too much GABA. And I know you don't want to take too much GABA. So where do you find the happy medium when it comes to gabapentin, right? What I'm figuring out, there's some medications when it comes to technology that I think are great and beneficial. And then there's others not so great and not beneficial. How they're being prescribed is, I think, a bigger issue that we're all aware of. But when does your own brain tell you, like, enough's enough? Because it was painful to take a shower. It's painful to lay down. It's painful to sit up. The pain goes in every direction. And it causes you to be emotional or angry. It's almost like uncontrollable what direction someone is going to go in, depending on the day in regards to pain. And ultimately, it's our brain that makes that decision on what direction we want to go towards. So for me, gabapentin, you can use long-term. I don't want to use long-term. So for those who have tried gabapentin, I'd like to know like how much you take per day, how long you've been taking it, what else do you do for pain. I can do Motrin. I can't do Motrin. I can do Tylenol, but Tylenol don't touch shit. I can do the muscle relaxer, but that don't touch shit. When my entire body has nerve damage. And it's not just one targeted area. It's every fucking area. Every main nerve was targeted. And again, everything happens for a reason. And I feel like not a coincidence that I had studied the brain. So I can kind of like work through this and different techniques and certain stuff. Because this is about like, I know gabapentin you can't just stop. It's one of those things you kind of have to taper off, which almost all medication is like. But how much is enough? How much are you guys actually taking, like, to kill it, and how long have you been taking it? Because that's the next step, trying to figure out how to get out of that stage. So basically, when something traumatic happens, like a car accident or whatever you guys' cases may be that caused this, it's like your body goes into fight or flight mode, gets triggered, right? And the adrenaline kicks in, and you know, I'm explaining to the doctors is this, and it's just, there's just so many doctors, it's so fucking overwhelming. And trying to explain this to another doctor, it's just, I know where you guys are at, because it's like, well, that one specializes in that one, so you need to go and see that one. It's a lot. You definitely have to self-advocate and do your own research in regards to like what's going on. What's the first thing you target what's the first thing you work on when it comes to stuff like that. It's very frustrating for me because I know that PT is like one of the best things you can do, and as soon as possible before nerve damage becomes permanent. So on that end, it's very frustrating for me because it's like 1 week after 1 week, it's just something new happening, and it's happening quick because the next MRI showed that it was extruding, which is stage 4. You can't get any more than that. Like usually it's spine decompression. We got to figure out what's going on with my neck first, my cervical spine, before we start tackling things. And it's not an easy process. So I might not have a choice. I might have to have surgery. It's the last thing they want to do when it comes to the spine. But all of my major arteries are now pinched. They're all compressed. So we're gonna have to figure out something. And at the end of the day, it really boils down to our fight or flight, our neurotransmitters that are communicating to our nervous system. So you can go from feeling depressed, or I can be snappy without even knowing like I'm snappy. It's just, the pain is so overwhelming. Sometimes it's like, can't even talk. You're lucky if you can sit. It's certain stuff like that. Again, I do feel like me choosing the gabapentin, because it's more about calming and then uplifting and working with my dopamine versus being sedative. And it can be sedative for some people, especially if you're already fighting depression and certain stuff. And again, we also have to be very careful of what we're putting into our body. Well, you need to understand, I guess, what part of your brain is being targeted when it comes to this, and how just because it worked really great for somebody else doesn't mean it's going to work really good for you. And it's only blocking, you have like 7 main neurotransmitters that communicate with your nervous system, guys. And if one's blocked because of trauma and the fight or flight, and your adrenaline is now wearing off, like my adrenaline, it took 2 months for my adrenaline to kind of come down a notch from the accident. And then it brings out all this other pain. And then I got one doctor telling me it's post-concussion. Everything I'm experiencing is post-concussion. I got the other one telling me it's linked to my spine. I have another one saying it could be the medication. So situations like this, you definitely have to self-advocate and do your own research and figure out ultimately what is best for you and where. And that's really the bottom line, which is hard to work through with pain medication. I'm almost like really tempted to get off like the gabapentin and go back to tramadol, but it's not that good for your body either. It's going to start affecting other parts of my body. You know what I mean? I know when it comes to like nerve pain, physical therapy, rest, meditation, probiotics, I think more or less a lot of people be like, all right, I got to get the pain under control, because that seems to be like the biggest thing. When you're in the midst of that pain, it's unbearable. But I don't think that's our biggest target area. I think our biggest target area needs to be our brain, and ask your doctor, how is this going to affect my brain? Because my neurotransmitters, all my communicators are already off, because my body was already put into fight or flight mode. So everything's wacky. Everything. So that's not fun to push through either. So, I can have Mia say one thing, and then next thing you know, I'm just like so moody, I could cry, or I can get angry. So, I mean, when I say it fucks with you, it fucks with you. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, my dad, for instance, has a friend who got in a bad car accident years ago and has been on gabapentin for years and works really well. It's how he gets through, how he gets by. But we just can't stay on gabapentin our whole lives, guys. Like there's I know there's ways out of it, right? Me trying to figure out how to incorporate that slowly and surely will come. So to have the gabapentin to calm that part of your serotonin and dopamine, that part, the GABA is there to take it down a notch. So then all the other nerve blockers can communicate with all the other muscle cells or glands, but it's, you're not targeting what actually needs to be targeted. You're only bypassing something. So ultimately, it's not our best solution. This day and age, when it comes to medicines, I was kind of just saying this earlier, I do feel like some of it is absolutely beneficial. And the breakthroughs that they had to replace certain things. But again, dopamine, though, you could take extra doses of vitamin B and magnesium and not take pills, But the pills are blocking the pain. But it's blocking the pain signal. It's not blocking the pain. The pain is still there. You just don't feel it because it's blocking the signal. So it's not, there's obviously other ways to block and do that, and to find a way to block that signal without taking a medication. You know what I mean? So I don't know how this is all going to come into play to my Dallas method, with my theory when it comes to helping humanity consciously wake up to certain things. Don't quite know how that's going to play a role, but I do know I didn't get put in this situation for me not to figure out how this was going to play a role. And me already having an issue when it comes to meditation and GABA and slowing down certain brain waves, because you don't want to slow down brain waves. So there's going to be a lot to eventually discuss and figure out. That's for sure. But right now I want to figure out, I guess I need to figure out when it comes to medications and certain prognosis. Okay, so here's the thing too. When you're in fight or flight, when your amygdala is in fight or flight, okay, because of whatever the case may be, it's already having, it goes into not paralysis. I don't know why paralysis is coming to me. It goes into I can't think of the word. Paralysis. Why do I keep going to paralysis? Like a spasm. No, no, it shuts down as if it's like a word, like almost like a being paralyzed, like it can't do anything. I have my book in front of me. What is it? I'm gonna figure out where it's at. I don't know why I can't think of. Just got to be close to here because I know what we want to do is target our reward system, which has to do with our gray matter. But that's another conversation. This is important. I don't know why I'm spacing. It's a whole next conversation, so. Neurons can regenerate, including humans, and linked to their ability to regenerate nerve cells. This one has to do with memory, though. Neurotransmitters. I know there's 7 of them, but it's essential. It's the chemicals, the messages, like I just talked about, that your body cannot go without. It's can't. Targets the cells, nerve cell, muscle gland. I already talked about that. GABA goes into. Oh, maybe paralysis. No, I keep using the same damn word. Damaged white matter goes into the gray matter. That's not it. I know we want to use the reward system. I don't think it's. Maybe it is with my beta waves. I'm literally getting dizzy. I like the Friggle sticks. All right, in a minute, I think I'm just gonna not talk about what apparently I was going to talk about because reptilian brain rewards. Wait, it's not under that. All right. Can somebody remind me what I was talking about, please? Maybe my brain will just, maybe it'll just come back to me. My nervous system. So we're talking about neurotransmitters, our neurons, and what stimulate, we should be talking about what stimulates this, but I want to keep this, the amygdala. Yeah. What was I saying before that? I want to kind of do. We're talking about the nervous system, serotonin, dopamine. We're talking about the medication, but it's just temporary, it's just bypassing. The fight or flight with the amygdala, because I know when your brain is in that mode, like paralysis. No, it's not paralysis. Why is that? Okay, so that part of the brain will automatically kind of like freeze and shut down as if like being paralyzed in a way. Fuck me. I can't remember after that, which doesn't make any sense. We're about to give up in a second. It will come back to me. Anywho, that's gonna bug me. Because I brought this book over saying to myself, there was something in this book that I wanted to talk about, and I want to say it was that. And it could be in any one of these sections, so I guess I'm not gonna go there, but everything's linked to the white gray matter. Well, I guess we're not gonna talk about that particular message for some reason. I was talking about the amygdala, fight or flight. Yeah, and how it freezes, and then your entire nervous system kind of goes into like paralysis. Is that the fucking word I'm looking for? I don't feel like it is. Yeah, paralysis. Was I saying dialysis? Dialysis? Okay, so from there, your amygdala is already shut down. But that's not what I was going to talk about. So I don't know why that particular thought was taken. I do find it a wee bit annoying because it's where I wanted to go with this conversation. Yeah, well, hormone system being huge to feminine power, any type of empowerment. You could work with the hormones, it's so crucial. So basically the medicines are bypassing certain things, they're calming other things. You know, gabapentin can help with anxiety, it can help with, you know, releasing more dopamine, serotonin, the type of stuff that's not being released right now because of a traumatic event or whatever the case may be. Your adrenaline wears off, like all that stuff. Everything is frozen. All your little neurons that talk to you, the neurotransmitters, all these things, like they're crucial when it comes to the nervous system. So I keep getting blocked as if it's, yeah, see, it's gonna drive me nuts. I can't sit here and go, I'm going to drive myself nuts. I can't sit here and go through it like this. I'm trying to think like what section it would be in, and I'm not trying to do that right this second. But that's the conversation I feel like we need to have. don't forget it has anything to do with that beta waves either. Because I stopped talking about like the meditation with the GABA. I just feel like me going through this and trying to find that one topic is gonna have me talk about what it is I wanted to talk about, but I in a way I don't. I shouldn't even have brought this book over. Because I didn't even want to talk about anything but the Dala, so I don't need to talk about like all the other stuff that's actually in my face right now. Because that's another thing that I wanted to talk about next when it comes to GABA, because even decreasing that can be dangerous, and that has to do with meditation. We're just talking about medication right now. Haha. So you're shutting those down. What section am I on? Side effects, the negative side effects. Okay. Right. That makes sense when it comes to blocking, decreasing, all that stuff. So the absence of, the absence of our natural fear is dangerous. Your nervous system goes into a psychosis because you blocked it off to increase your GABA. Okay. So I can't believe that one little section is where I just got stuck at. So again, it is under the negative side effects of GABA. So we must have been talking about, the Dala and all that. Okay. So so are we going to talk about the dangers of that? Because that's a whole nother fucking conversation that I wasn't trying to have. I feel like we gotta literally do like one day at a time when it comes to breaking this down. And I'm gonna start tomorrow. We're just gonna start, and I gotta put it out there. So this does make sense. I'll just read this to you real quick, and I think we're going to just kind of go off of this, and I didn't even want to read. But this is where doctors prescribe meds, choosing antidepressants, target certain stuff. The main source of medicine hits the Dala first. This is why yoga, they try to decrease it, the target, the shrinking down the amygdala to simmer the fear, anxiety, thoughts. The entire chemical balance is now off. Our bodies are under multiple attack. Now trying to navigate through this with anxiety or stress seems somewhat exciting when it comes to dulling down the GABA. And then I talk about being able to live without the Dala, but those are dangers itself, because basically you're taking the absence of natural fear away, which you don't want to do, which is what medication does. Potentially could be fatal. So meditation, I get why they decrease the Dala, because they want to feel the emotions and less emotions and stress. And the GABA slows down the brain by blocking the signals of the nervous system. So I get why you do it, but you really shouldn't do it. Blocking and decreasing is only a temporary fix, but you've trained your brain to a positive reward. Again, like yoga, a lot of people will look at it in a positive way. You know what I mean? And it can be, depending on what type of yoga and meditation and teachers and how you're educating yourself when it comes to yoga, because yoga in the United States somewhat can actually be freaking dangerous because you don't have teachers out there sitting down with you and explaining to you what part of the brain they're targeting for you to get that calm. So it's a big problem within the United States. Other countries probably not so much, but within the United States for damn sure. Okay. So again, these are just, it's a temporary reward. It's not long term. It's just things that are going to keep resurfacing. All right. So that's, so, so I guess like right now for me, when it comes to the gabapentin, is probably the best choice because it helps with anxiety and it helps bring out the happy hormones that my body right now doesn't want to produce because of the trauma. So again, like I said, medications, some could be extremely beneficial, but I keep getting caught here. So there's something here I keep getting caught up with. And again, technology, some are absolutely beneficial, but on a temporary, I also feel like on a very temporary basis, you know what I mean? Because it's gabapentin is made for you to be able to take for years and years and years and years and years to block this pain, because nerve pain, especially when the damage hit, it doesn't typically ever go away, right? But your brain is never fully functioning if you have any type of medication that's trying to interfere with your one main like dashboard. It's your main dashboard, your cognitive, you know, it's like your main circuit, which is, I'm getting pulled to cognitive, but it's actually your amygdala, but it's all linked. So I guess right now I just want to talk about what type of, let me grab something, what type of medications you're taking, natural things that you've been told to do or you do that help. How long you kind of been on these medications. So I am that person where I don't want to do medicine. But I also got put in a situation where until I figure out something, I have to. It's just, it's too much. It's unbearable. It fucks with every circuit. It fucks, it's awful. It's awful. Damn, I feel like I just feel like this video is over. Like me bringing this book over here just literally just threw me the fuck off. Like I don't if we were on my other channel right now, it would make a lot of sense that this is happening. Lion's mane, for your brain, ears. Yeah, there's all that research with mushrooms. I mean, eventually, guys, what I've also, like, honestly, though, what I'm discovering, there is some medication that I think is brilliant that they can replace the GABA to enhance, you know, certain stuff that right now my body is fighting because there's too much adrenaline because of trauma. Again, it depends on everybody's different scenario. Right now, I'm just talking like nerve pain from head to toe. So I know I'm going to figure this out. I already know I have like the answers when it comes to certain stuff and how much you should be taking and not taking and how you're supposed to get to A to B. We're going to obviously figure that out. Again, I get pulled to the other channel as if it would make sense to me to stop talking. I just kind of feel like frequencies, music, yeah, all frequencies, all that's gonna help too, guys. But I keep getting pulled to the conversation of like, I really do think with technology, and there are certain medications that are great, but that they can access this and certain things to our brain to try to like to balance things out. But each medication is just, it's so different, and it's targeting different areas. So it's hard to maneuver medication. So if you're, it's hard to maneuver medication, because if you're on that one and then they want to bring you to this one, you're just shutting down another blocker and setting yourself up to fail, because now they're trying to reach another receptor. It's so fucking confusing. But it's not, though. It's not, if you find the right person to break it down, and I hope I'm that person, but it's so much more than just how long are you going to stay on this medication? And I guess my main thing is, are you doing your own research? And doctors will say, well, don't get off of this, or you got to taper off that, and you can't just yada, yada. But no one wants to live with like nerve pain, guys. I get it. Like, I have nerve pain from head to fucking toe, hitting every area of my fucking major arteries and veins are like impinged right now. So trust me, I know what you guys are kind of like going through and where the brain can take you. So there's obviously natural homeopathic stuff you can do, and then there's it's like spirit talking about like there's something with like great medications, but to what extent are you going to use these medications to being codependent on them? You know what I mean? So basically, it's just what I want to do is break down. I'm going to break down the brain with certain stuff, but this particular video is important to me because I want to know what medications are like for those who deal with nerve pain. I want to know what medicines you're using. I can easily Google it, but there's something where there's got to be something where somebody writes something or something just clicks. And then I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So if we work on that and we work on this. There's always holistic approaches, but that's it. I hate to say it. I feel like it's old school. Like those approaches are old school. They're always, old school is good. They've always been there. Natural stuff, what we put into our body, stuff like that. But this is the problem I think we have with the Matrix right now in humanity when it comes to teaching, and everyone could be like, all right, well, I'm going to take a more holistic route and do this, this, and this. But even though you're doing this, and you know what you're targeting, how do you know you're targeting the right thing for you and for your brain? How do you know you're making the right decision? Because right now there's probably only about 10% of people in this world that are making the right type of conscious decisions. And that's not me being an asshole. That's the truth. No, I don't care who you are. You know, that's the truth. So I think it's more important to figure out, I think it's more important to reconstruct this industry, like I've been saying, than it is to be like, all right, well, I'm going to take a more homeopathic view and I'm going to go this way and I'm going to try meditation and I'm going to try, mushrooms, and I'm going to try all this other stuff that I can try naturally so I'm not fucking up, certain chemicals and messing with my brain. You're doing the same thing medication does, though, if that makes sense. You're just in a more natural way. But if you don't know what you're targeting, if you don't know what part of your brain you're targeting or what part of your brain you need to work on, or what anybody in general needs to work on when it comes to certain stuff, that's not helping you either. And I think that's where, again, this industry needs to kind of be restructured, even when it comes to homeopathic. They know it's targeting this, they know it's targeting that, but everything is coming from our brain, but our brain stem, our white matter, all that stuff, right? That controls everything. Your cervical spine controls from your brain to your fingertips. Your thoracic spine controls your organs, the outer extremities, your abdominal area, and your lumbar spine controls your sacral chakra, all that down controls your legs, your waist, that type of stuff, right? So technically I just studied the brain for a year, and now it's now how crucial it is, how crucial this spine plays a part, the brain stem. Okay, so so say you sleep wrong, okay, and you wake up with a stiff neck, so the more you know, the more powerful your brain will be, because you can now target that differently versus, I'm going to take an Aleve, it's just arthritis, or you know what I mean? Now you know what area to target versus just popping a pill or trying to rub it out. Does that make sense? So again, there's something here with man-made medicines and the ones that really want to help, but to an extent. I know from me just studying the brain and working on that for a year, I already know I really shouldn't be taking a lot of GABA. There's only so much GABA I want to get to before it could become addicting, or I take too much, because the pain is still there. It's only being blocked. But there's so many other receptors that are being interfered with. It's like static electricity, the old bunny elephant ears for the antennas, old school. You know what I mean? It's like that. That's what your brain's doing. You know what I mean? If you're not targeting the right area. So there's a lot of different things that we can do, but I just think awareness is key when it comes to, once again, you wake up with a stiff neck. You're just going to wake up and take an Aleve and rub it out, take a hot shower. Or would you rather be educated on what it is, that you can just fix yourself in a whole different, it's like a whole new light, it's a whole different level of consciousness. It's sad that they don't teach you all about the brain in school. I mean, I know why they do. I know why they not. I know why they don't do it. And it's a shame. But again, it's the industry, and yeah, it's the same with holistic medicine. It's the same with mushrooms. We know lion's mane is supposed to be good for brain and rejuvenation, things like that, right? We know that, but what else is it targeting? How do you know you're not allergic to it? How do you know your body's not going to have an allergic reaction that shuts down other areas and receptors? So we know it's good for you, so we just put it in our body without really doing the research. Or you're doing the research, but you're not doing the research to the extent of you consciously making the right decision. You think you're making a conscious decision, but you're not. If that makes sense. So yeah. So again, it's just kind of, restructuring the industry. Do I think holistic way is great? Yeah. But I also think you need to be highly aware of what you're putting in, and not just, oh, like that's the newest thing. Everyone's, the mushrooms, this and that. Like it's always been out there. Yeah, I mean, then there's so much, and then it's like, all right, so what medicine are they going to put me on, to coat my stomach so I don't start injuring my liver and kidneys, and you know what I mean? And there is some, we can restore and rejuvenate certain nerve cells. And there's some you can't. But like, I didn't realize how crucial the spine was. Your spine does everything for your brain, vice versa. Like it's all, I don't know. Like I feel like I would have figured that out in the midst of the last year of doing my own research, how it's all linked like that, and I didn't. Like, not until I actually physically got injured, and then realizing, you got hay fever. You think you got hay fever, but next thing you know, it's your cervical spine. It's your C4, and it just needs a little bit of an adjustment. You don't have hay fever. Seriously, like it works like that. Brain is so fucking powerful. So powerful. So again, I keep getting the same vibe of like there is like certain medicines out there that I think have absolutely come a long way. But there's not just one medicine that fixes everything, and they know it's being targeted or what's more important to be targeted, or they think they know what should be targeted first, and that's your doctor's opinion. We count on our doctors, to be educated enough. But it's always changing. Our brain is changing with humanity. Our education is changing with evolution. Everything is changing. So you do less research, or they look less into this, and I have all this experience. I've been working with it for 40 years. Well, in the last 40 years has been a huge change when it comes to the consciousness, and when it comes to energy and frequencies, and the world going to trash and fucking pollution. There's so much stuff. All that matters. Like, all that matters in the sense of energy. So certain medications aren't even going to work for you like they used to work for you. They should work for you because the frequencies are fucking off, and there's toxic shit in the fucking air that throws us off. And then here, pop a pill, and there's nothing we can do about the toxic airs per se. It's already here. You know what I mean? It's already done. It's nothing you can really do about it unless you're going to clean up, and that's a whole nother conversation for other people that do their thing when it comes to environmental safety, global warming, that type of stuff. That's not my area of expertise. So all that needs to be taken into consideration. The last time they got their education was 40 years ago, and it works for them. And it's not that they're wrong. It's you can only go so far with certain stuff. Well, they probably tell themselves that, but so it's your job to do your research and know what's being messed with and fucked with, and how, and I don't expect anybody to push through the pain like that. It's very, very hard to push through nerve pain. It's one of the most excruciating things known to like mankind, so they say, But again, our brain is powerful enough. If we target the right things, and the right things are being targeted, because if you're taking this medication with that medication, the doctors obviously know well, you can't take this one with that one because it's going to interfere with that one. It could decrease that one and increase that one. And they know that part of it, right? And they somewhat know what it does to the brain. I don't think there's too many doctors out there that are exploring the brain when it comes to what they should be prescribing and not prescribing. You know? So just remote Reiki. Yeah, I was considering doing something else in regards to remotely too on Patreon. But again, I do think even when it comes to what we're putting in our bodies holistically, and then the good choices we're making, or how we eat. Oh, you're talking like remote on me? I'm gonna go with no. I'm so. Mm-mm. But thank you. I appreciate it. I know. It's just no. I can't have other people stepping in. I already have, doctors want to prescribe this. They want to prescribe. What am I gonna? Next thing I know, I'm being prescribed in them, and like, I don't even know what I'm gonna do next, or what to. I know it can't hurt with certain stuff like that, but with me, I can't have any type of interference like that. Not even like through acupuncture right now. Like I gotta get my brain in check. That makes sense. My brain comes first, and then the healing will follow. And that should be key for everybody. I mean, that should really be like a motto. Everyone's healing and yada yada, but yeah, there's all that extra that can help on this side. But ultimately, once you realize something and how things are breaking down, your perspective changes, and therefore your world can change. So I'm going to try to run to the bathroom. Yeah. Country? Oh, Courtney. Yeah, I do think, like, I do like the Reiki, all that stuff. Like, I know it's good for you. I know there's certain stuff, but that it doesn't always work for other people too. And when you're doing Reiki, and when you're doing meditation, and when you're doing all this stuff, and and you're trying everything holistically, or what you think is best for you, ultimately it can actually cause more damage than you think. And I know a lot of people don't want to like think of things, like they don't want to look at stuff like that, like meditation can do more damage, or something that they think works for them can do more damage. Oh, it works for me. It's sedating you, and you think that's okay because you're not taking a pill to sedate yourself, but you're still being sedated without you realizing you're being fucking sedate. Like, the whole, like I said, I'm not shitting you, like the whole fucking industry needs to look at something differently. Do I think those techniques when it comes to acupuncture and Reiki and frequency and all that, yeah, that's a thing. That's how we connect to Mother Earth. That's how we connect to land, our roots, the energy fields. I get it. But if you don't know how your fucking brain works and what you're targeting and not targeting, you're not doing anything. You think you're doing something beneficial, but you're not. And science can prove that. It's temporary. It's a temporary fix. It's a temporary woosah. It's a temporary, like, oh, you feel like I'm doing good and blah, 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 blah. I just feel like everything on this fucking planet is a big fucking hoax, to be quite honest with you, when it comes to what people want to put out there. When it comes to healing and medicine, however you choose, whatever route you take, you know. And I know Reiki is good and it works with energy, and I mean, I get that, but like, if your energy field and your zone is already like discombobulated and your amygdala is already like shut down because of an experience or something you heard on the news, however it kicks in for you, like, your brain is not working 100% to make a conscious decision, and that science proves that. And like I said, there's very few walking around on this fucking planet Earth right now that are consciously actually aware of that. Let me just try to go down through. And when it comes to like Reiki and all that other stuff, and how it like can be damaging, people who go to Reiki and they go to different people and they cleanse and they purify and, you know, sage this and Palo Santo that and yada yada yada, don't even really know about energy. We are energy. We are matter. Like, 90% of, I'd say, this population have no fucking clue when it comes to how it is we react to energy. And somewhere down the line, somebody decided talking about energy was fucking taboo and spiritual, and it's just stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. If they would just teach us the fucking basics in school, we wouldn't be in this situation anyway. And everyone wants to battle with fucking AI. AI is energy, and it can overpower us very quickly. And it is spiritual, and people don't. How can you look at it as being spiritual? It's AI. It's a computer. It's fucking energy. The world is energy. The planets are energy. What we breathe is, everything's fucking energy. So it is linked to Gaia. It's energy. It's just a new type of energy that can outpower people in a heartbeat. You know, what Elon Musk wants to do, the quantum computers or something, and yada yada. You have the top-notch fucking people in this entire fucking world that won't even fuck with quantum computers because it can take over. So you want a machine in front of you that can take over your own brain? It can take over your energy. Quantum energy will take over your energy. If you don't know how to work with fucking energy and all of a sudden you just up and know this quantum computer is fucking cool. Like the fuck? Nope. You have the top fucking people, the smartest people in the fucking world. They won't fuck with that shit. And, you know, just, hey, we're gonna, this new computer, this new phone. Well, that phone can now read your beta waves and fuck with your energy. I mean, shit like that's already happening anyway. You know, but somewhere down the road, somebody wanted to say it was fucking taboo. Energy is fucking taboo. They wanted to link it to fucking something taboo, which is like the craziest thing. So when I say this industry needs to be restructured, it definitely needs to be fucking restructured. And you don't just go off and buy a quantum fucking computer if you don't even know what fucking quantum energy is. And half these people don't even know what the fucking, what energy is in general. But yet they'll go and buy the next top fucking computer on the fucking market, not knowing jack shit about what it can actually fucking do. All they know is that what it can do technology wise when it comes to AI, you know. So that's a whole nother level that Spirit's trying to work with when it comes to AI. Because AI can very much take over, and it's a baby right now, and it's just growing and growing and growing. So, and then what's left? There'd be nothing. There's nothing left. Everything became robots. There'd be nothing left. So, and that's what technology is going to do. It's going to keep advancing and keep advancing, which is great. But your brain needs to be stable enough to decide whether or not you can handle or work with that energy. So, you know, phone, you shouldn't have your phone in your back pocket. Can't have babies and cause fertility issues. We all know there's certain stuff like that, and I don't even want to have that conversation. It just kind of seems needless. That conversation doesn't even need to play part with this conversation, but I guess I'm just gonna kind of come on and you know, I've been saying it off and on and breaking down the brain. Something's got to click in my own head first, I think. There's so many things. People need, I think just me talking about the brain changes the consciousness of a lot of things. And therefore it changes that, how, you know, life, the world evolves, how humanity evolves. Next couple years are crucial. And I said it before, each day I guess I'll just come on and target one thing or talk about one thing, but I feel like it's more than just that. How, like, so we all know the other channel when it comes to like spirituality and stuff like that. So when it comes to like my beliefs, this obviously are incorporated into this channel, but not to the extent of like this is spiritual and yada yada. It's not like that, but obviously it's my belief is incorporated in it. I forget what I was just gonna say because I tipped that over on purpose. Spiritual channel, the brain. I don't know. I've been saying for a while, I'm just going to come on and break down little things and different little things. But like over the last year, like haven't been doing that, or it doesn't feel like the right time, or, need this app, need this, but there's got to be something. Like I have to start somewhere, but it just doesn't feel like it's that. But so I don't know. That's why I think I keep getting held up. But I certainly didn't get put in this position to not figure it out. That's for damn sure. This has to be bigger than what I know, than what it only makes sense. This has to be bigger than what I think it is. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't make any sense because for it not to be, it has to be incorporated in the next couple of years and how humanity evolves. And it's as simple as incorporating certain stuff, setting examples, teaching examples. I don't know. But again, it definitely didn't get put in this position not to figure it out and that light bulb not to go off, and now it's there's something involved in regards to like being pulled to like the spine, but it all intertwines. So I'll figure it out. I'm not worried that I'm not going to figure it out, but like I said, I sit here and I'm like, oh, I go one by one, step by step, but like, I don't think it's going to work like that. And then I feel like if I would have started this 6 months ago, probably wouldn't have gotten to where it needed to be. Everything it's divine timing, fate, Akashic records, stuff like that. In regards to my belief, it doesn't have to be yours. And then it's like not being able to start physical therapy, not being able to do this or do that or talk about this or work on it. All happens for a reason, because something's just gonna click. So I'll be on tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to be discussing. But I can't stress enough that this entire industry needs to just be restructured. I feel like I keep waiting for something to click, but like it's already there. So I feel like I just get pulled back to like, okay, so I started this video in regards to like nerve pain, medication, what you take and what you shouldn't be taking. I feel like I'm missing something here, like it was a needless video. So something will end up clicking for me on my end. I'm guessing. Because we didn't get very far on the topic of nerve pain. Kind of feel like just touching base. So again, Yeah, it's the very basic. It's the frontal cortex, how they process info. It's not even fully developed. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah. It's everything's linked. Yeah, I even kind of feel bad like having that whole conversation in regards to he, she, they, And I do think the they category definitely need to take a fucking stand and look at things differently, because at this point the government is just catering and making situations worse. And I'm not saying you don't feel that way, but you also had shit fucking educators following the fucking political fucking system that they have to play by the fucking book and play by the fucking rules. I can't even imagine being a teacher these days. Like, and I think it was, what was it, just kind of like, I think it was like somebody in like third grade. How they're incorporating they or whatnot, such a young age, in this generation, thinking that they can just kind of be catered to. They can. The government's catering to them, so I guess they can be catered to because the fucking government's allowing it. But like, it's so fucking corrupt. It's being poisoned, and there's too many people out there that think that the government has your back when it comes to who you think you are as an individual, and they don't. And I don't know who's educating who on what, but another fucking conversation to be had. But I do think like even you still have a place in this world. If you want to consider yourself a they, I think that you're just causing more confusion to yourself because you're waking up each day deciding what role you want to play, and that takes away from your life. It takes away from your happiness. It takes away from your everyday perception on how something's gonna fucking roll. Like that's no life. That's basically that's basically a program. It's like meet George Jetson, Jane, his wife, Rosie the robot. You know what I mean? Like, okay, George. You're like, and I'm really not trying to be an ass, but that's not going to change. That's something I'm going to have to work around. I'm not going to try to change who you think you are. You have every right in the entire world to think who you are. You want to tit for fucking tat. Like, we're here at the end of the day to live our fucking lives and to be happy, and you to be comfortable enough to who you are, whether you're a he, she, whether you're attracted to fucking he, she, they, it, penises, vaginas, and whatever, you're attracted to. Like, at the end of the day, that's you, and I'm not going to try to take that away from you, and I don't think anybody should take away what they already kind of put out there, but the government put it out there to have the upper hand. It's because they don't think you're right by any means. They're sitting back fucking laughing. Okay, so that's why I say take advantage of that, because why don't you turn around and put them in their fucking place? Because at the end of the day, they're fucking laughing. I hate to say it, but it's the truth. And then you got such a strong fucking beliefs, which is powerful. And then it's like educating these kids and incorporating this and that, and it's okay. And it is okay, but you're also teaching them at a young age. You're causing more confusion by basically saying they can be one or the other. So you're basically confusing the child with early education when you don't even need to confuse them. Does that make sense? Like, I'm sure it makes sense, but like, Why don't you teach them to be individuals? Why do we have to add, how did gender get put there? Or you know, so it's shit like that, and everyone wants to speak up, and you got it right, and we all have a right to our own opinion, agree to disagree, however you want to roll in life, but to cause more confusion is not the answer. It's the government's answer, but at the end of the day, it's not. At the end of the day, it's you're not. If you're not happy, or you're not happy, like, I don't know. I just think there's placements, there's categories that the government has put everybody into. I saw a fucking commercial the other day for Instacart or something, and it was like in Spanish, and it was all about using EBT in the government. It was all about EBT, and the little boy comes in. He's got floppers on his feet. He's scuba diving gear. It's 7-year-old, all fucking cute shit, running through the house, blip 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 blip, with his little fucking feet and his goggle mask, and mom handing him a fucking apple, and or whatever the case may be. And then there was something else, and then they were like going on like vacation, and I'm just like, are we really fucking rocking this message like this? Like, here, like, there's no way you guys don't see what's happening here in this fucking world, right? Like, you're just here, come into our fucking country, we're gonna give you EBT, Section 8, we're gonna hook you the fuck up, you never gotta work the rest of your life, you now have a right to vote, we're gonna help you get a job. Well, they're not even gonna help you get a job, they're just gonna give you funds and money that's gonna come out of, taxpayers' pockets. It's shit like that, right? Just fucking come on in. It's nice and warm here, we're gonna take good care of you, okay? Come on in. It was just like, it was how they were promoting EBT with Instacart and other things. It was just very disturbing, and basically like, here, now you have more money to take a vacation, and because the government's just giving you free money and food, so now you can pocket cash in a whole different way. So anywho, I think again, I'm getting sidetracked, but we can't fix stupid, okay? But we can rewire our brains and look at things differently. And it's not about changing who you are. I know you feel like everyone has a place, and if you have that category, you feel acknowledged. Well, they did that for you, but like, how acknowledged do you feel? Like, was it empowering enough to get you up at the end of the day and tell everybody to fuck off and still pursue your own purpose and happiness? Or are you feeding off of what the government wants you to feed off of, whether it's rage or whatever it may be, to put your message out there so more people can understand that they're not alone? Like, you don't need to do that. We already know that as a collective. Like, there's so much stuff being put out there, and that doesn't need to be put out the way it's being put out. Like, we all have a fucking place on this fucking universe, and ultimately at the end of the day, you do what you want to do, your purpose, your happiness, whatever it is for you, without placing yourself in a certain category necessarily, to figure out who you are, or to feel more powerful, or to feel like you've been heard. It's just division, dividing us. Absolutely. That's all they've been doing, and they're continuing to do it in so many different ways. So again, it would just need like a fucking brand campaign. I think I'm gonna have to start digging out the fucking bigwigs to kind of just get this like seriously, like, I don't know where this is going to take me, but like at this point, I just feel like it's not about who you are, what category you want to be in anymore. It's about educating. It's about your brain breaking down what's important and what's relevant. Make your own fucking decisions. We're not going to be able to change education overnight. It's been an issue for years and years and years. It's that stuff. Like, all we can do is focus on how our brain fucking functions, so we can start having a little more clarity in our fucking life. And again, I'm not trying to take away who you think you are, but at the end of the day, waking up and deciding what gender you want to be doesn't seem like a fun fucking life to me. At all. And you want a place, you only want a place because the government is putting things into categories and dividing us. And we all know it's fucking common sense. We all know it's happening, but not enough people are talking about it. We all have an opinion. You talk about it at the dinner table, you talk about it at work, or this and that. Like, stand up and fucking talk about it. And it's not just going to rallies and doing this. That's a different type of announcement. At the end of the day, it boils down to the fucking brain and your fucking thought process, and who, not who you want to be. Just be who the fuck you are. And not worry about what fucking category, what role you're gonna fucking play each day. Like, that's no way to live. And mind you guys, this is gonna take years to reconstruct. This isn't just gonna happen overnight. You know what I mean? It's just not gonna work like that. But I kind of fucking, I feel bad. Like, the government just is putting all this shit into like category and putting you in situation to decide whether or not. It just doesn't. Anywho, it's not going to change. The only thing that's going to change that is if you start to realize what the government is actually doing to you, and then you manipulate the energy from there. Throw it right back in the fucker's face. See how far they get. Because they have control over that right now. And they're happy little fucking working bees, laughing and just living it up in their matrix life in their penthouses, and they're thinking they have all this power, and whether they live in a fucking farmhouse, it doesn't fucking matter. Okay, like, whole industry. I just don't understand why we don't have advocates or bigwigs out there talking about shit like this. Anyone out there like that talking about certain shit like that would be like here and there Oprah when she brings up certain stuff and her guests and who she's met and her type of live, and then like Elon Musk. Like, where are all the other fucking advocates? Where are all the other fucking people to have a fucking opinion when it, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many of us. YouTube is a free fucking platform, ladies and gents. Like, you're fighting. People are fighting for things they don't even need to fight for anymore. Like, I just. Where is your day? Where did your day go? What did you accomplish in that one day fighting for something that you're so strong and passionate about? But where did it get you at the end of the day? Where has it gotten you? And I don't want you to lose that fight, and I don't want you to be sad about it, and I know this is self-empowerment, but you can only take self-empowerment so far with one subject and not incorporate it into your everyday life. Eventually it's going to become exhausting or less motivating, just shit like that. So you're not living life. Like, I'm staring at my globe down here and looking at all different fucking countries and continents, and like, the billions of fucking people on this planet, and 90% of you just walking around. Doo-doo-doo. Stupid as fuck. And it's our own fault. It's literally our own fault. It's the government's fault. It's our own fault. It is what it is. There's no point in fighting for this anymore, fighting for that. Like, there's like fighting to like live in different things, but like the way people are fighting these days, like it's not even playing fair. It's not even real fighting. Like, it's happened to a good old fucking fight, you know? Like, I don't know. What are you fighting for? And at the end of the day, is it making you happy? You know? Are you living your life and you're getting angry over this, you're getting angry over that, or that person's opinion? Like, at the end of the day, like, does it really matter? It shouldn't. It shouldn't matter. What matters is your own sanity, your own mental health, your own mental stability, emotional stability, physical stability. Shit like that. So, anyhow, I'll be back tomorrow. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to talk about because I really don't. This is the part that's like confuses me because it's not that it confuses me. I'm very clear on where this needs to go. But I need to be very clear on how the message gets out there. Like, seeking out the right people. Or the right people finding me. To get it out there. So that's the part that is just throwing me off the most. How much can I put out there before somebody else takes it? That's the frustrating part. I think that's where my hold up is. Because everything that I talk about linked to the brain boils down to Dalla's method, which I don't think anyone can take from me, obviously, but like, that's where my blockage is. What can be spoken about without I don't think someone can snag it and grab it. Anyone can snag it and grab it, but like, it's my own blockage. And that's if it's even a blockage. I could just be thinking it's a blockage and it's not. No, there's a blockage there. Divine timing, right? So again, like, maybe tonight I'll figure out like what to talk about tomorrow, but that's not supposed to go. Life's not supposed to roll like that either, though. It should just be like, all right, well, I'm going to talk about this, click on, and we're talking about it, right? Like, can't read from a fucking book like that. So, it's frustrating on my end, but it will click. Something will click. It will come together, you know? So, I don't think this was a pointless video, but it doesn't feel like it was a beneficial video either. Yeah, it will come together. It will click. Something will, yeah. I know it will. It will. So I'll be back at some point tomorrow. I'll probably be on the other channel later. I don't know. Feels like a blockage, but it might not be a blockage. You know? So I think that's everyday life for a lot of people out there. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I know, Aim. But like, that's why I have like my issue too. Like, she writes, I enjoy our conversations, topics around most people are like clueless, not in the same frequency. But I keep like, I almost feel like I just keep repeating the same thing like over and over, and like that's not going to help anybody either. So, yes, I don't think it will. No, no. It won't. Something just needs, it will click, guys. Like it. It will click. I enjoy conversations too. It's just, all right. But yeah, I'll let you guys go, and I will see you. I'll see you tomorrow or later on the other channel too. I don't know. So I love you guys. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Figure it out as we go. I'll figure it out as I go. I hope I'm gonna fucking figure it out as I go. Jesus. It's like a record. I'm like a prime example of like a record player, right? Over and over. Like, I love how Spirit just kind of like, yeah, go be that person that everybody is right now. Then you can wake everybody up at one time too. You know? Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely something like that going on here. Fuck. So I'll see you guys when I see you. I love you too. You're welcome. Bye, guys.